Good evening, friends. Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live. A couple of things I want to share with you before we get started here. There's some interviews that we have done that for some reason, even our 30-second clip has not been uploading to our Israeli News Live platform. So those of you that would want to see those videos, they are actually over two different places, mainly on iConnect FX. The interview that we did here with Dr. Artis and Dr. Viglione are published there. Also, where you can see it in Hebrew, Spanish, Russian, and English. They're having a little bit of difficulties with one of the languages, so that way you can listen to it if you need that foreign language for your own purpose there. You could do that. And how the CIA is using mainstream Christian platforms. That's another video. If you're still having trouble with your smart devices on iConnectFX.com, you could also view this over on brand new to Intel World is using mainstream Christian platforms. Now, Rob Skiba, the video I have here is a Prophecy Club where I'm speaking about Rob Skiba here. I am not speaking as Rob Skiba as disseminating information. Well, let me put it this way here. I'm in agreement with what Rob was speaking about back in 2013. But what it was, I was sent this video and it made me to, how would I put it there? I wanted to be able to share with you how the CIA, NSA, other agencies use Christian ministers, etc., to be able to get their New World Order or one world government or one world religion doctrines out on these platforms like Prophecy Club, like that of the Baker program, things like that. On this one here, what caught my attention with Rob was bringing out information that would clearly identify what just happened over the last couple of years. But the way he put it together, that information was so well known in the intelligence community already that I could not help but wonder if Rob didn't end up stumbling across one of these agents, not knowing that he was with these type people there. And maybe in their sharing information, he got inspired and put the pieces together and then later was able to share this with the world back in 2013. He was very accurate in his information. And I never knew Rob personally other than we would communicate back and forth on Facebook in the early years there. And so I have a lot of respect for Rob. And so like I said, the video is in no means anything against Rob personally, but it just inspired me knowing the things that I know and how they're doing it. And we're going to get more into that subject and exposing the government's secret agenda and how they're using big platforms in Christianity to disseminate their one world religion program. I kind of feel like that this could have also played a role in why he may have been targeted, why his life was taken from him, because Rob did not support that New World Order agenda. He did not support Israel, being a New World Order head, etc., things like that. But again, it was an inspiring video for me to hear because of the fact that everything he said I knew already from the intelligence community. And I just thought it was fascinating that he had pieced this together through his own inspiration. And so I wanted to be able to share this stuff with you guys. So I wanted to let you know that. But real quick, I need to bring to your attention something here in just 1 second here that you guys need to be able to know. And so the thing is that I had done this video on this creature that's like a Bigfoot but not a Bigfoot. And that he is extremely tall, and that I'd reached out to you guys trying to get more information about this because of not only Yellowstone, but also in Colorado, places like that. This creature is what, the way it's been disseminated to me is that he's like a Nephilim type of being, half bear, half man, even part of like a wolf type of creature, approximately 9 foot in height there. In one of the meetings I was in recently, we talked more about this particular creature. And they said that he had, in one of the old files, and I want to say this is the FBI files back in the, I want to say in 1997 is when it was, this creature had taken with a limb and beat to death a Kodiak bear, 1,400-pound Kodiak bear. They know it's the same creature because of the markings that were left in the limb. And I mentioned that to you guys the other day. But then Elizabeth sent me this video here of what lurks beneath. And he is going into the same story. And I believe this is, I think he says 1989. I know we have a 1992 FBI file case where a very similar story happened. But... and the one I think in 1992 is in Colorado, where 2 men were found dead, naked, eyeballs removed, tongues removed as if they were removed surgically. And so these are the type things that were taking place in not only Yellowstone, but also in Colorado National Parks there. And I remember I sent David Paulides an email trying to see if I could kind of get more information with him about this. And if I'm not mistaken, David Paulides was actually part of the case in 1992. But I was also told that several administrations have put a lot of pressure on him to keep silent about this. Now, David did write me back. He said that he put in caps, not that he disagrees with what I'm saying about this being these type of entities, but he would have to have more solid proof before he'd be willing to discuss this stuff with me personally. He did, though, tell me, however, he did not, that from the information, the people he knows, there were no men in black that ever visited Yellowstone National Park. Detectives there, excuse me, not detectives, but the Yellowstone National Park rangers, to keep silent. Well, in this particular video, what lurks beneath this guy here, and I think he's actually reading part of a transcript of things that were going on there, discloses information about some of these very same killings. And yes, the men in black were there. It is the CIA, by the way, so I can tell you what branch of the government it is. That's where the men in black come from, or is from the CIA. But listen to what he says here.
Hearing voices to seeing shapes all around, people were beginning to get very spooked, and although there was not a lot of talk amongst campers and rangers, you can tell that the attitude and demeanor was beginning to change. Part of that was also brought on by these strange men who at the time I thought were a part of the Secret Service, but were in fact a part of the shadow branch of government who kept showing up, threatening us staff, threatening and speaking to hikers, demanding questions. They kind of just appeared and would come and go. I even spoke to my boss about it at some point or another, but he just claims that his hands were tied and he was not allowed to divulge any information regarding who they were or what sector of government they are from. And as I recall, it was later on in October. We were soon approaching Halloween, and I get a call from a fellow ranger, one of my closer colleagues, whom informed me that there's a man that I need to speak to who had come in and spoken to this ranger, and he knew some of the things I had experienced and worked on, and he wanted to tell me his story. So we brought this man in, and he wouldn't tell me his name, but he seemed really nervous to say this, and I think ultimately he was afraid of revealing too much information because he was afraid it would either get him detained or kicked out of the park, that something bad was going to happen if he would tell me his story. And fortunately, I was able to get information out of him and assure him that nothing would happen. So what he proceeded to tell me was that on the northeastern end of the park, there's a campsite that he found, a rogue lone campsite that belonged to His words were a deformed man. I'd asked him curiously to give more information than just the words deformed man, and I could tell that he really paused and would stutter a lot, and he was genuinely scared of what he saw. He had a really hard time making eye contact and just expressing what had happened to him in his story. But he went on to tell me that what he thought was a deformed man was actually something else. And he begged us to not call him crazy, but would go on to describe what he would see as a wolf or bear-like creature, and the head with long arms, massive claws, and strange blue and white markings all over its body. I asked him what he meant by blue and white markings, but he described them almost like tattoos, but not, and couldn't really give any more information. It was a very bizarre and very strange description. Now, how he had stumbled upon it was, his claims were that he was sleeping, and he was awakened by a voice calling him deeper into the woods. He says this voice wasn't a voice he could exactly play.
I'll pause this. I'll put a link for this video here to what lurks beneath in the description for you guys to be able to so you can watch this video in its entirety if you so choose to do so. He also goes into the story about where one of these creatures takes a man inside of a cave where he's there, and this is underneath Yellowstone, etc. This will really help well, I guess it gives a different perspective of what I've been sharing with you guys already. As I mentioned to you in one of the FBI files that we have, 1997, we have where one of these creatures, and this was actually in Alaska though, beat to death a Kodiak bear, 1,400-pound Kodiak bear, like beating a dog with a stick. The limb had been just ripped off of a tree about 12 foot up in the air. So just imagine the size of a creature that it would take to do that. And also, it was told to me too that Yellowstone is not what you think it is. That they tell the people geologically up underneath Yellowstone is a bunch of molten lava, but it's not the case. It is massive set of caverns and caves that are under there. And it was the belief of people that I know in the government that believe that this is only, they tell people this to try to keep them from exploring deeper into these things. But these, and of course the reports that, initially when I first told you guys about this, I didn't know if this was something that had just happened recently, if this had been spanning over a year, 2 years, something like that. But no, this was a culmination of reports that had gone back decades. But there was an increased activity, especially in Colorado, and somewhere in Colorado, at one of these parks there, we still are actively dealing with that situation there. I know they have tried to capture this creature. They almost had it cornered at one point, only to have it leap 45 feet over a river and disappear on them, and they couldn't do it. So, very demonic from what I understand. This particular type creature is like part bear, part man, part wolf, whatever you want to call it there. I think the wolf part of it is the claws on its hands. Unlike a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch, it has claws on its hands. So anyway, I wanted to kind of update you guys on that. And then also, just a reminder there, our YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, our iConnect, where we upload these short clips, is not working properly. And we have loaded several videos over there on iConnect that we wanted to make sure you were aware of, but we've just not been able to get those over onto our YouTube channel. So you guys are not aware of these, and the information in them is not such as that we could load on our YouTube channel. So there would be things that they would not appreciate. But generally you get a 30-second clip so you're aware that it's there. Now you know, and of course we were out of pocket there for a couple of days there. Our daughter had gotten very, very sick. She is recovering a little bit, still got some issues going on there that we haven't been able to fully take care of, but working on, I should say. So just keep her in your prayers. We appreciate that, and God bless you. Thank you for listening, and if you feel in your heart you want to support the work we do, IsraeliNewsLive.org. You also have our website and mailing address. Everything is right there on the video there at the top of your screen there. But thank you, and God bless you.